Hello, Wildman here. So today I'm going to explain to you the 5 things that I hated about my 2016 F-150. So as you can see, my new truck, this is a 2018, and I did actually really like my 16 F-150. It was an awesome truck, but there was 5 things about it that just were extremely annoying. Number 1, okay, this one was really bad. So the way the front end of the old truck works is you have the active shutter. So the shutters shut off airflow to the radiator and also just helps with aerodynamics. And then there was this kind of rubber sheet that kind of went around the radiator, and so the wind is supposed to just kind of come down here and go down. Well, the rubber sheet kept falling down and making like a funnel that would funnel the air all up when everything was closed up. So the sheet kept on falling down and it would just sit there and flap. So the first time it happened, well, I pinned the sheet back up. And then a week later, it fell down. So I took it to the dealer. They replaced the whole sheet and they pinned it back up. And that's actually a pretty big job. I think it cost them like maybe $1,500 because they had to disconnect all the air conditioning lines and all that stuff just to get the sheet out. Well, what do you know? 2 weeks later, it fell down again. It actually tears, it rips and falls down. So I took it back to them and they did it again. 2 weeks later, it did the same thing. So this time I pinned it back up myself and I put a bunch of zip ties on it. And instead of falling down, the wind grabbed it and ripped it right in half, and now only half was falling down and the other one was pinned up. So that's absolutely terrible. And on this truck, they fixed that by putting like a plastic sheeting there, so obviously it can't fall down. Number 2, whenever you would come to a stop with the 16, come to a stop, kind of roll a little bit and then give gas, the whole drivetrain would kind of go clunk. There was like I think there was a little bit of play either in the tranny, somewhere in the drive shaft like the U-joints, or somewhere in the rear end. Or if you would slow down, even if you'd come to a stop and then a second later give gas to go, there'd be like that drivetrain clunk. And it was so annoying, it would literally drive me insane. And this truck, 2018, that seems to all be corrected. I don't know if there's like an issue with tolerances in the other truck. You know, maybe mine was on the maximum side of the tolerances that would cause this drive lash kind of clunk. But it's all resolved in this truck, and that's awesome. Number 3, this window. Oh my goodness. Okay, in my 16, you'd be driving down the highway. The kids are all sleeping in the back, and so you want to keep it quiet. So you have the window roll down maybe just like this. So you have to roll the window down for a second. Maybe you're listening to something or you just want a little bit of fresh air. Okay, so now what you do is you're like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm going to roll it up. So you go ahead and start rolling it up. And as you do that, the truck goes over a very tiny bump. Like I could drive over a penny and the window would think that there's something stopping it from going up. So you're going down the highway and this is what happens. Yeah, the window rolls all the way down because you went over a little bump and it felt like something was, it's a safety mechanism, right? Maybe someone's got their hand in it. So that's what it thought it was doing. And then it would roll all the way down. And then I'd be like, no. Well, now there's so much buffeting in the truck. All the kids are awake. So that was really annoying. They've got a sensor in here that thinks that there's something stopping the window from going up, and the sensor was way too sensitive. So in my 18, that is all taken care of. I can go over off-road bumps, I can go over everything, a train track, and roll my window up at the same time, and it doesn't stop. So I'm pretty excited about that. Number 4, so the emergency brake. The emergency brake on the 2016, where you put your foot and you kind of push down, that was terrible. And at first it's fine, but once you start driving the truck and, you drive it in the winter and the rear brakes get a little bit dirty, man, the emergency brake just wouldn't work very well. You would put it down and it would make so many creaking and knocking and almost like the cables like ripping and stretching. And I had a 2013 F-150 and I had to take it to the dealer, and the whole inside of the rear brake rotor where the emergency brake is was all rusted to pieces, and they had to clean it up. And then a month later did the same thing. So my 16 had the same issue. So on this 18, they have the electronic brake now. And I'm not even sure if it's a real emergency brake or if it just applies brake pressure to all the wheels. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but it works a lot better. That's awesome. Number 5. When the rear seat is folded up, let me show you. So not specifically this side, but the other side. But when this rear seat is folded up and you're driving along, the back of the seat would sit there and just rattle. So on the other side, I can't do it because I have the car seat. But the back of the seat would sit there and rattle. So I could never really fold the seats up. I took the back down and I took a look to find out what was rattling. And I couldn't really think of an easy way to fix it. So I kind of just left it and put up with it. But that was extremely annoying. So that's it. So those are the 5 things that I hated about my 16 that are now fixed in my 18. But I just want to say, those things are kind of fairly minor. I mean, for the most part, the truck, the 2016 ran really well. I loved it. It was an awesome truck. And but I just love this 18 even more. So thanks for watching. Wildman out.